Welcome back. We've been speaking with Nandan Nilekani in our special series, India at 75. We've been speaking about India's achievements in its best sector, IT and digitization. Nandan, you alluded to ONDC just before we went to the break, and I want as much of details as possible on that because there's so much hope pinned on it. What is the stage? I mean, is it good to go in several cities? Have people like, I understand Snapdeal has signed up. Have you seen any big guys sign up, even other such platforms? Just give us an idea of what we should expect before 22 is out.
Well, I think the specifics of where it is at is best answered by the CEO, Koshi.
Okay.
ONDC is really a transformational project fully backed by Minister Goyal and with an advisory committee of whom I'm one of the members. But fundamentally, the idea is that if you can disaggregate e-commerce so that any supplier who publishes on the ONDC protocol can be visible to any buyer on the ONDC protocol, what that means is that any consumer app can become an e-commerce app, and he should be able to discover a supplier and place an order on that supplier. And then there could be a large number of delivery companies which are on this network who will actually do the delivery for you. So instead of a monolithic single party transaction, you would have a multi-party transaction for e-commerce. And we believe that that will be extraordinarily inclusive. It will allow small suppliers around the country to plug into this and sell to anybody in the country. It will allow consumer apps of any kind to plug into and provide this facility. It will allow the small retailer to participate in a sort of a hyper-local commerce model. Yeah. It will allow delivery companies to gain more traction. So it's a great idea. I think the company itself has been set up. There's a board led by Adil Zainul Bhai. There's a CEO with Mr. Koshi.
Yes.
And there is, I think they've got a large number of shareholders who are investing in this company, which is a Section 8 non-profit company.
Yeah. No,
so
actually,
I think it's gaining huge traction.
No, we have spoken already to Koshi and to many of the banks who have invested, who are shareholders of ONDC. But, unlike UPI, ONDC is coming at a time when already large networks exist. Like there's an Amazon network, there is probably Big Basket. There are large sellers and buyers already aggregated. So, whereas UPI came at a time when we had not had very evolved payment systems. There was a little bit of Paytm, otherwise we were, the field was open. Can this succeed to that extent because the others will also fight? And we are given to understand that the ONDC setup may have a seller's bias because the whole idea is to protect the small commerce, the small kirana guy. Clearly, the big networks, the Amazons of the world have a buyer's bias. So, I mean, do you see hiccups?
No, look, I think everybody will coexist. The fact of the matter is that today, e-commerce is a very small part of commerce in India.
Yeah.
It may be, 5 to 10% at best. And tomorrow, if everybody has to be on e-commerce, then you need an architecture that allows everyone to participate. So I think everybody is going to coexist. Everybody is going to be an e-commerce player. And I think there are going to be many buyer platforms also, which will come on this because there are many people who are having a consumer-facing app but don't have an e-commerce capability, and this will allow them to ramp up and become part of e-commerce very quickly. There'll be a whole new set of consumer apps that will emerge that will become part of e-commerce. All the rural networks of CSCs can be outlets. Every retailer can be on this, not only as a seller, as a supplier, but also providing delivery and therefore enable last mile hyper local commerce. So I think there are lots of possibilities. We don't know where this will all land, but it will expand the market for e-commerce. So I think it's just an expanding market, as we saw in payments.
Yes.
That everybody grew because we essentially unlocked payments.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Waiting with fingers crossed. And yeah, I have a lot of faith in that. My maid often grumbles that people are paying her cash and she wishes they pay her in on Google Pay so that, she can send it to her village quickly. So clearly, people are way ahead in this curve. I'll come back to this in a minute. But, the one worry we have with this is data protection. Are we not entering this huge digital world without enough protection for our data? I mean, I always fear What if the guy I'm buying pizzas from gives away that data to my insurance company and those guys jack up my premium or something? Is there not a danger of going too fast without the law?
No, but that can happen today, no? I mean, nothing to do with ONDC. I mean, that's something.
No,
can
not
happen
ONDC.
today.
I'm not saying ONDC. I'm saying more generally, are we not in danger that we've moved fast in digitization but not in the law?
No, I think certainly the data privacy law has to come. In fact, I had written to the Prime Minister 10 years back saying that we need a data privacy law. But, there is a law on the table and it's in Parliament. I don't know the exact status. But we have to continue to innovate, and we have to make sure that these individual things that we build are designed for privacy. So I think ONDC, for example, they are not keeping the data. The data remains with wherever it is. ONDC is just a protocol that connects the players.
Yeah.
Similarly, account aggregator is very, very designed privacy by design because the account aggregator themselves cannot see the data. They only act as a traffic cop taking data on your behalf.
Yeah.
From a source to a destination, which is fully encrypted. So, while we were waiting for the law, I think a lot of the design of these systems are designed for privacy.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Even the latest Reserve Bank move for tokenization and not allowing merchants to store customer data is all in that direction. But, we have some buzz on this law that is being discussed. And we understand that the government is wanting to carve for itself some areas. I mean, they want to give blanket exemptions to themselves on grounds of, public order, sovereignty, etc. Would not that be a bit dangerous? I mean, it's not just deep state, it is also data leakage.
Well, I really don't know the current state of the data privacy bill. I'm in Bangalore, far away from all this. But I do believe that we need one which balances the interests of the individuals and small businesses, balances the issues of the state. Most countries do have an exemption for, national security. Obviously, the way it's carved out and the way it's structured is extremely important. We have to also look at data collection by people collecting a lot of data and using it for other purposes. So it's a very complex issue. All I can say is that we have to continue to innovate. We have to continue to put India's technological capability of a digital economy at a different level. And wherever we are designing individual systems, be it UPI or Aadhaar or GSTN or ONDC or AA, they have to be designed for privacy in its fundamental design. That's what we can do in terms of problem solving as we go forward.
Okay. Yes, we hope so. But, even Justice B.N. Srikrishna, who was, the author of that data protection law, is expressed worries about the government carving too big an exemption. But as you say, it's all at the moment only in the buzz stage and we're waiting for what the final shape can be. Okay, Nandan, we're running out of time. I just want you to zoom out and look at India in the next 25, if not the next 75. That may be too difficult. But over the next 25, what do you see as red flags that we should be prepared for? All right, digitization, but it looks like the economic divide or the K-shaped economy we are talking about is just made the country deeply inequitous. So, can digitization really give us benefits if a large section is having smaller and smaller part of the economic pie?
Well, everything that has been done in India is actually designed for inclusivity.
Yes.
It's designed for 1 billion people to use it. It's designed to be very, very low cost so that even people with lower purchasing power can use these services. UPI is free. Aadhaar is typically free for the user. It's designed to be inclusive. Everybody, 1.3 billion people have an Aadhaar number. Something like 250 million people use UPI, and several 100 million people use the DBT. Even if you don't have a card or something or a phone, you can withdraw money from a business correspondent using the Aadhaar-enabled payment system. So believe me, everything here is designed for inclusivity. It's not at all In fact, this is designed for inclusivity and productivity
Yeah.
at population scale.
No.
And if the account aggregator system takes off, it will democratize credit. So individuals who never got access to credit before, or small businesses who never got access to credit, will now get credit. So everything being built in India is actually designed in a very inclusive, universal way.
Okay. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, you're preaching to the converted on this point, but it still worries me that, you know, they can give credit to people who have hitherto not been included. But what if they are not credit worthy because of the kind of K-shaped recovery we have seen after COVID in the recent years? That was the fear I was expressing.
The credit is based on their digital footprints. I mean,
Yes.
if small business gets credit, the lender will evaluate his sales using UPI.
I agree.
Evaluate the vendor's invoices based on the orders they place on using GST.
Yes.
They will get this audited account of the balance sheet of the company and so on. So basically, and the bank statement. So this is database lending. This is not
I agree with you. That's exactly my point. I mean, I don't think we are disagreeing. What I'm saying is that there are too many people outside even that system at this juncture. But I guess that's a more larger economic issue.
You have to, first of all, there are, let's say, 11 million businesses in GST. Okay, there are 260 million people on UPI. Only a fraction of them are getting credit today. So even if you take it to those people and they in turn create jobs for more people, that's how the economy will go forward.
Absolutely. No. It is bridging. It is bridging the divide. But I'm just wondering if the divide is too big. Okay, just a final quick question to you. I'm being warned. I have overshot time. You know, as you look at the future, what do you look at as the big bright green flag for India and the big red flag for India?
Well, I think the digital economy that India is creating is unprecedented anywhere in the world. And this has been built by lots of dedicated people with the national interest in mind. And this digital economy with democratization of access, identity, payments, credit, healthcare, etc., will lay the foundations for a much more equitable and balanced, inclusive society. I think clearly there are larger issues we have to talk about, which I'm not really an expert on. But I think that's something which has to be done. Obviously, when you do digital transformation of this scale, you can have issues of privacy, you can have issues of security, you can have issues of digital divide. We deal with all these things, but fundamentally, India is in the sweet spot to take the digital revolution to its logical conclusion.
Okay, that's a very, very optimistic way to end this conversation. Thank you very much, Nandan Nilekani, for giving us an idea of where India is headed, and it is a very, very optimistic layout that Nandan is presenting to us. Thank you very much for watching our maiden episode of our series, India at 75.
Thank you, Lata. Thank you very much.